Hey guys, the new Nissan Leaf has now been launched, and before my inbox gets completely flooded with people wanting to know what I think, I thought I'd better do a video about it pretty quick. Now for those that don't know, it's obviously a new design of a Leaf. It's going to have a bigger range, bigger battery, some autonomous driving, and the battery that they're initially launching with is a 40 kilowatt hour battery. In about another year's time from that coming out, there's going to be a bigger battery, 60 kilowatt hour version, I think called the E+, and that's going to be a proper 220, 30, 40 mile longer range EV. The UK price of this Leaf will be released around October time, and the monthly kind of PCP financial figures will come a bit after that. I'm guessing November-ish maybe, because they're wanting to start doing UK deliveries in January. I can also confirm that all of the UK spec Leafs, because this was listed as an option on the Japanese stream, will come with the 6.6 charger as standard rather than as an optional extra. Which, to be perfectly honest, as we're now in 2017 and it will be a 40 kilowatt hour battery, it should be standard. So I've had enough time now to mull over what I really think. I've watched the stream obviously once or twice, I've seen lots of pictures, I've seen what people have wrote about it that have actually driven the car now. I have to say, I'm a little bit flat. Not disappointed so much, but just a bit meh. There was a big deal made on social media by Nissan, you know, 5 days to launch, 4 days to launch. They were putting teasers out there. The all-new Nissan Leaf is coming, when in fact it's basically just a facelift of this car, the car I'm in now. I mean, there are parts of the car, I'll try and put some pictures up, that are literally identical to this. The door cards, which I don't know if you can fully make out, is literally identical on this car to the other one. The shape of all this, the outline of the car, I knew it was going to use the same chassis, but they did kind of think it was going to be the all-new Leaf. It was going to be a real ground-up change, when in reality they've shared not just components. It's the same thing. It's the same car. The shape's exactly the same. They've got this little window down here. It's basically a facelift. It isn't an all-new car, so I kind of feel a little bit cheated on that one. If this would be kind of classed shape-wise as the Mark 1, that's the Mark 1.5 for me. It's not the all-new Nissan Leaf. So I feel a little bit flat on that one, a little bit cheated maybe, that it's not this all big kind of game changer or just a new car. Which, I mean, I'm going to get onto the car itself, don't get me wrong. I think the car will be superb. But before I get onto that, I need to get this off my chest. The other thing is the battery size that it's been launched with, which is a 40 kilowatt hour battery with a realistic range of 150-60 miles, which in itself is very impressive. It's going to be about 40-50 miles more than this. Now they've already announced that at the same time they're going to do a 60 kilowatt hour version roughly a year, give or take, after this new Leaf comes out. For me, it would have been nice if they'd have just launched the 60 straight off. Even if they're saying it's a year away, I'm not saying it has to come out now, there might be a reason it can't come out now. I would have rather have just gone straight to the 60. That's going to be a proper 220, 30, 40, 50 mile range car. You know, it breaks that kind of mental barrier people have of above 200 miles. They could have put it with the autonomous driving, and you know, it's going to look different. It would be a new Leaf in many terms, whereas the 40 kilowatt hour version is just kind of an incremental change. I have a 30 kilowatt hour Leaf, and I can quite easily do my commute, and then when I get home my wife goes to work and she can do hers as well, so we could both use the same car. So we could both do our commutes in the 30 with no issues at all. When we had the 24, there were days I got home and I'd done just a few too many miles for her to be able to do hers in, so she had to take the other car. So for us getting the 30, it actually made quite a difference to our commuting, our lifestyle, if you like. It made a change. The same with long journeys. If I do my regular journey down to my parents, about 260 odd miles each way, that would be 4, sometimes 5 stops to charge in the 24 kilowatt hour Leaf. In this, it's no more than 2. That again it was worth changing from the 24 to the 30. That little extra kind of 20-30 miles has made quite a big difference in our lifestyle, in the ownership experience of the car. If I went from the 30 to the 40, I would still be able to do the commute, and very, very few people out there will be doing a commute of above 100-110 miles. in a day. So going to the 40 when the 30 can do nearly anyone's commute on a daily basis anyway, it won't make any difference in the lifestyle, in what you do. The 30 is more than capable of coping with almost anybody's daily commute, so the 40 won't make a difference. And when we come to the long range, obviously, because it's going to have a longer range by about 40-50 miles, of course it will be more convenient, but on a long run that I do, the one I've just mentioned, 260 miles each way, it just means I'll be able to do it in one stop instead of 2 stops. So although it's more convenient, it's hardly a big game changer for me, or for people in general. Now if they've gone straight for the 60, which is 230 miles, 240, 250 miles, we don't know yet, but it's going to be well past the 200 barrier, then there's a fair chance that I'll be able to do that one, for example, without stopping at all. It also means you'll be able to do kind of London to Edinburgh in one stop. You know, it becomes I won't say a long range EV, but it becomes an almost longish range EV. It's different enough, it's better than the 30 kilowatt enough to justify replacing the 30 with the 40, if that makes sense. If it was a 40, it's just slightly more convenient. So you don't feel like you're getting something really new, really different. I really think they should have just put the 40, which is practically the same car, put the 40 kilowatt hour battery in this shaped Leaf. Forget the autonomous driving for a bit, forget all that, just put the bigger battery, as they've done in the Renault Zoe, which is basically the same company, Renault Nissan. They did that, what, nearly a year ago? Stick this in this current shaped Leaf, do it as cheap as possible, and then, in another year or however long it is before it comes out, launch the proper next generation Leaf. It would have felt like a new car has come out, rather than an incremental upgrade of one. And a lot of current Leaf or EV owners kind of feel the same. We were expecting something bigger and better, and they are bringing that out, but not yet. They're bringing an interim version out. I don't see the point of the interim version. So yeah, I'm not saying that it won't be a good car. I'm sure it will be a brilliant car. The range will be fantastic. The experience, the autonomous driving, I hope will be a really good experience as well. So I just think I'm a bit flat, that's all. So semi-disappointing is probably the word. Now, if you don't own a Leaf or an electric car at the moment and you're just thinking about going into it, the new Leaf will be far more attractive, I think. So for that, it will be really going to be amazing. For current owners, it's not been kind of a great experience. It'll leave you a bit flat. For new prospective owners, it's going to be an extremely attractive option. Now there is one thing which no one seems to have mentioned yet, which I think will be significant, and that's taxi drivers. They've often come back and said, well, yeah, it's brilliant, I save money, but sometimes I have to turn a fare down, certainly if it's in the last third of the shift, because it's too far, it's beyond the range, or they have to charge the car, which means they're wasting half an hour at a peak time, or they have to wait to charge the car, so that they're sat here not earning money for 30, 45, an hour. So there were the drawbacks, basically. Now they all tend to say that it is about 110 to 140 miles for a typical shift for a taxi driver. So if this can do 150, 60 miles without having to charge at all, that means it becomes way more attractive to a taxi driver. And if taxis start buying them in big numbers, you're going to see a lot more on the road. People are going to have experience of them by getting into the taxis. So I think that's going to make a big difference. So I think that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And if you are a taxi driver, please let me know if it changes anything for you, especially if you've got Leaf at the moment. As far as the rest of the car goes, there is something. I'll put a picture up here, which is of the interior of the new Leaf. Someone at Nissan obviously has a major button fetish. Look at the sheer amount of buttons this new car has. Bear in mind that you're going to have touch buttons on the touchscreen as well as all these physical buttons. I just think there's way too much. They've gone crazy. You'd think with something that's got autonomy built into it as well, there would be less buttons. Things are getting less and less and more minimal. So I don't understand why they've gone ballistic by just littering the car with all these buttons. So that's something which has kind of put me off a little bit of the interior. Again, it'd be nice to physically get inside one. So yeah, that's why I think it will be a fantastic car. It's going to sell as well as this has. It probably more, in fact, because they're getting popular now. It's getting more usable. It is an incremental update, which is a little disappointing for current Leaf owners, but for new people, I think it'll be a very tempting proposition because it's designed to be at the same price point as the current Leaf. Now, retail price and the price that you get on kind of like monthly PCP offers, they're often very different. The retail price of this car is, I think, around £30,000, whereas in reality, if I bought it outright, or if I want to keep it at the end, it's probably 17 to 18,000. I can't remember the exact figure. So the retail price often in standard cars and Fords and Golfs, no one ever pays the retail price. I think the new Leaf I think it'll be a fair bit more expensive than this. So it's going to be interesting to know what the 60 kilowatt that's due roughly end of 2018, starting 2019 will be priced at, because they're going to be sold alongside. Is that going to be close to the price? Because by the time we get to early 2019, that's when the Model 3 from Tesla is due. Early 2019. Obviously they haven't hit the targets very well and all that, but basically you might be within 6 months of the UK Model 3 launch date. I'm very positive about the car. I'm just kind of a bit flat about the big build-up. I think it's been built up more to what the car is. It's basically the same car with a facelift, a little bit of autonomous driving, and a slightly bigger battery for now at least. I've spoken to many Leaf owners, as you can imagine, and I don't think there's any of them have said that they want to take that Leaf into the Nissan dealership and say, right, I want the new one, let's trade it in. They've all kind of thought, well, it's better, but I'm not going to rush out and get it. It looks positive, I think, for Nissan. It looks good. I think other manufacturers, Fords, Volkswagens, all the ones that have yet to bring their kind of mainstream EV out, are going to find it very tough to beat on price and capability. I'd love to know what you think of the new Leaf. Looks are subjective, so I won't go into that too much, but what do you think? If you don't own a Leaf at the moment, does this make it tip the barrier for where you think you can get one? So it will change it for some people, so it'd be interesting to know what you think about the new Leaf, and tell me what you think about them not releasing the 60 straight away. The reason I gave before, I think that for me was a mistake. Stick the 40 in this shape and release the 60 for the new proper Leaf. So yes, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.